Hi, I'm Tanya.
Hi, I'm Anthony. I am her son.
And this is Karma's a Stitch. This is episode 12. And if you are new here, I'm so glad that you found us. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you're returning, welcome back. I've got some stuff to show that you guys have probably followed along with if you've been here. I start each of my episodes with a scripture at the bottom of the screen.
It is Romans 10:9.
So I'll put that at the bottom, and then at the end of the episode, I'll actually put the scripture from Romans 10:9 in. I am going to start with my acquisitions, and then I'll go into my whips and my FOs. Anthony asked me at the beginning of this episode, what is whips? And so that's work in progress. For those that may not know, an FO is a finished object. So this week or this episode, I have 2 FOs to share and more whips than I should have. And I've got some acquisitions and some exciting podcasts and folks to talk about. And then a little life catch up at the end. Okay, first off, let's get some of the admin stuff out of the way. We are on Instagram as Karma's a Stitch. Put that on the screen. You can find me if you'd like to reach out. You're welcome to. I get emails more than anything else. And you can get me at tanya@karmasastitch.com. We do have a Facebook page, but I'm not super active on there. And I think we have a website, which is forever under construction. You're welcome to go check it out. I do have the yarn that Anthony and I dye on there, and project bags should be up there. I have stuff. There's stuff up there, but it's always under construction. So please be kind with your criticisms. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start with my new acquisitions. And so if you watched my last episode, you'll know that I had won a prize recently because the Twisted U, which is the local yarn store to us, and they do a live video every Thursday morning. And if you interact with them and make comments, while they're doing their video, the following week when they're doing their live video, they do a drawing. And this is the second time that I've won. This time I won a project bag. Isn't that so cute? The sheep and the kitty. I'm going to say that's an alpaca. What do you think? Anthony and I just looked up.
Yeah, it's an alpaca.
We just looked up what the difference was, and that's not a kitty. That's a bunny.
Kitty?
Pardon me. I thought it was a cat. It's not.
Oh, obviously not.
Well, it wasn't obvious to me because I said cat. Now I see that it's a bunny.
Yeah.
But Anthony, I was just talking to Anthony, and I was like, what is the difference between a llama and an alpaca? And he went and found out. They said the biggest difference is the hair, and then the shapes and sizes
Of their head.
Yep.
And an alpaca has like a smaller snout, and then shorter ears. And a llama has a longer snout, and they described it as a banana-shaped ears. And my mom pointed it out, and I really, really agree because it looks almost exactly like a kangaroo head.
Well, the picture that he pulled up, it had an alpaca head and a llama head. And the llama, I don't know if all llamas are like this. I don't think they are, but this llama was shaved. Like the whole head was shaved.
Yeah.
And I was like, that kind of looks like a kangaroo head.
Yeah, but we don't have kangaroos here, so we may be very wrong.
I've seen one somewhere. I think it was in a zoo in Arkansas. Anyway, so that is my new project bag because I don't have enough of those. And
if you're new, that little chuckle I did, that was a very, very sarcastic.
I have.
You have so many.
Yeah, let's just hope and pray I never have enough projects to fill them all.
I think you have a project in all of them except for that one.
No, I don't. I have several. So, several that are empty.
I'm very surprised by that.
Learn something new every day. And then if you've been here before, you've also heard me talk about Plucky Knitter. Have you ever heard me talk about Plucky Knitter?
I think you did I've heard you bring it up.
Yeah. They make it very easy to order yarn from their website. And I'm sorry if you hear one of the dogs barking. But anyway, every month or every 3 weeks or something, Plucky Knitter does a sale. I don't know what she calls it, a tasting menu, but that's for certain, like if you want to sample some of her bases, and she's selling out those at a good cost. And at that same time, she sells one-hit wonders. And those one-hit wonders, they're only $10 a skein. That's pretty amazing. So
I don't know how much regular ones are, so.
Like this one right here, this is a skein of yarn, right? That is a horrible example because there's no price on it. Let's try that.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so this particular skein, I'll just show the price. I mean, everybody know, I shouldn't say everybody. I know. And a lot of people know that $10 for a skein of superwash merino, cashmere, and nylon, that combo, $10 is a pretty phenomenal price for that. This here is superwash merino, cashmere, and nylon. And I paid $36 for this one.
Yeah, but yours, it's bigger.
No, it's the same.
It's the same?
It's the same. All of these were $10.
What?
Yeah.
And that one is 36, and you got 5 for $10. Or you got 50.
I got 8. I got 8 skeins. Anyway, so she does this tasting menu, and she also does her one-hit wonder grab bags. And you can get a set of 3 or 5, or you could get 2 sets of 5, or a set of 5 and a set of 3. Whatever tickles your fancy. I have a hard time walking away from that because it is such a phenomenal price. And her one-hit wonders, sometimes it might be broken, or sometimes she dropped a little extra speckle of the wrong color. Whatever it is, they're gorgeous yarns. So I ended up getting 8 skeins. Now, we're just gonna dump them out so we don't have to hear the crinkle through the whole episode. I don't think anybody will be upset about that. Okay, so there are 2 bases here. Okay, I've got the Primo fingering. If you can read that. I'd love to block out my faces. That never works for me. Okay, and so this is 385 yards. It's 75-25 superwash merino, cashmere, nylon. Okay, and this is one of her one-hit wonders. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. And here's her feet base. Her feet base is just superwash and nylon. And there's 425 skeins in this. Okay, so maybe she, who knows, maybe she wanted the pink all the way through, or maybe she didn't like the way the speckles turned out. Who knows? But it's beautiful. And I got it for $10. So.
Wait, and you got the one-hit wonder for $10?
Yeah, each of these was $10.
You'd think that the one-hit wonder would be a little bit more expensive because it's a very limited supply.
because it was an accident. There was something she didn't like about it, so she won't be repeating it.
Oh.
Yeah. So then I got this lovely shade. The one thing about the One Hit Wonders is that they don't get named. There's no color name. There's no dye lot. I think that's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And lovely, lovely gray. And I don't know what would you call that?
Very
Brown?
light tan.
Tan?
Very light tan, or yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. And this one, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I always like looking in the middle of the skeins because it's deceiving. You don't always see what's in there. But isn't that beautiful? So this one here, that blue, look at this blue. Isn't that so gorgeous? I love this blue one. So then this final one here, okay, isn't that wonderful? I love these speckles and the tan and the pink. I mean, it's just got a little bit of everything. I mean, it's just so, it's just beautiful, beautiful. So this particular skein came in my recent grab bag, okay? But it's not going to stay here because there's a woman in our knitting group, my Thursday night or my Thursday local group, and I was asking her for help to pick my colors for my Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, and I looked at all of my Plucky Knitter and I was like, okay, there's no reason for me to go and get yarn specific for this project. I have plenty I could choose from, right?
Yeah.
So I could pick 4 that looked great, but as soon as I threw in a 5th one, I was like, I don't like that. I was having a hard time finding a combination of 5 that I liked. So I called up this lovely lady who has a very nice stash of her own Plucky Knitter. You know who you are. And she said, you know what, why don't you come on over? And we'll see if we can do a little swapsies. And so it was like 9 o'clock at night. And I was like, well, I'm in my pajamas. She's like, that's fine, come on. Come on over. She later regretted that. I should have changed my pajamas.
You really should have.
But I went over and 4 hours later I came home with my Stephen West colors. So this is the one that I got to choose one from her stash that she had available that was going to look good with my combo that I wanted. And this is the one that she chose from my stash. And I asked her if I could just keep it long enough to show you guys because Plucky Knitter's got some amazing stuff. And it's just beautiful yarn. Even the ones that she considers mistakes are gorgeous.
I think it's really, really pretty.
I
but
love
it has a one-hit wonder sticker right there.
Yeah, I love it.
It's really pretty.
And who knows what it is that she didn't like. It just wasn't what she wanted it to be. So anyway, this lady, this local lady, I'd love to call her my friend. She's like, yeah, absolutely. And so she was just fine with me showing this on the podcast, but I will make sure I get this to her because she was so kind to let me swap out with something that she had in her stash. So I will talk about, I guess, since I just was talking about my Stephen West, that was one of my goals for this episode, was to have my colors chosen for the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. And I have no idea where I put them.
Or put what?
They're right here. Okay. So this will be my Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. Let's see. There you go. So this color here is the one that I swapped her for. Okay. Now, when you look at this one, this variegated, it's got this yellow-ish. Do you call that yellow? Can you see that in there? Can you see that?
Yeah, but it's a lighter version of this one.
So that's in there. So there's that one, all in this one skein. This green, there's some speckles in there of the green.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah. And I love this color. I love that. I'm not usually a huge fan of green, but there's some greens that really I think I love. And I'm the same way with yellow. There's really next to no exceptions with orange though. And then this one that she had in her stash, I mean, there's, let's see, it's in here as well. Can you see those speckles?
Oh yeah.
Or down here?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that just, right? And then this chocolate or espresso, whatever you want to call it.
You can see it more down here.
Yeah. So this one skein
kind of ties everything together.
It does, but it doesn't have so much of any one color that it couldn't go next to each one of them.
Me personally, I think you should put it like right in the center.
Well, that's
of your project.
Yeah, but that's the thing with the mystery knit along. You don't know. Are you going to be doing stripes with them? Are you going to be doing solid blocks? You just don't know. You have no idea.
Well, what I would do is I'd pick the first two colors first, but then I would pick that one, and then after that, the second two.
Well, when Stephen West puts out his first clue, he if I remember correctly, he does say, okay, you're going to want to choose, you know, he gives you an idea, like pick your lightest one. Now pick the one that contrasts it the most, or pick your darkest one and then put the lightest one next to it. Whatever, I mean, he gives you an idea of how you want to do your color placement. And so I'm just really excited about these. So now that I have shown you guys these, I can give this one to its new owner, and I can cake up all of my Stephen West stuff for the mystery knit along. Okay. So I'm excited about that. What do you think about those colors? Do you like them?
I really, really like them.
Yeah.
And like, I know that I was helping you out pick the colors, and I mean, I always really liked them, but what I really, really like those colors, because you have that one skein that has a little bit of those other colors of each, and it just ties everything together. So it doesn't matter where you put it, it's going to work. Yeah. You know?
I'm excited about that.
It would look really awesome if you did stripes with that, so that it kind of goes over the whole thing, but I don't know.
We'll see what Mr. West has in mind. Yeah. Because I'm excited for this thing to start, and it starts on October 8th.
It's coming up.
I know. So
October 8th, that's the day that the youth group that I volunteer at goes on a retreat.
That's the day that we go on the pumpkin trip with Alex too. Oh. Okay, so let's talk about whips.
That's early in the morning. I think we leave towards the end of the day, I think, or midday. I don't know.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this project bag for my whips, let's start there. Here's the project bag from my mom. You guys, this is full, like full to the brim. So glad that it's a pull string, because then I don't have to worry about the zipper catching anything. I really have found I really don't like zippers. The project bag with zippers. So in this whip is my my other Stephen West that I'm currently working on, and it's the Moherino Medley. Now with this project, this is the other prize that I won from the Twisted You. You remember that? I won the yarn for this project, And so it does make me feel good knowing that I won the yarn, because these aren't the colors I would have chosen. Now, I understand that we all have different tastes, which makes us all wonderful. I'm not going to go through what each of the colors, each of the yarns are. I have it in my Ravelry page if you're interested. This project, it was brought to mind. You know how you have people say, oh, well, you're a process knitter or a project knitter. Have you heard that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So like a project knitter or a product knitter, or whatever the right word is for that, is somebody who just wants to hurry up and get through the knitting so they have the finished product. Like just hurry up and get it done so you have the finished product.
Yeah.
A process knitter is somebody who really just enjoys the process of knitting.
Yeah.
And if it takes a while, that's fine, because that whole time
they're knitting.
They're enjoying what they're making. So I have realized with this project that I am a process knitter. And I say that because the final product is not something that will be remaining in my house, because I don't particularly care to look at it. But I am going to finish it because I'm having so much fun knitting it. This pattern that he's done, the stitches, the different pattern, it's just been an absolute joy to knit. So, you know, when I'm talking mainly to my mom, she's like, well, why don't you just pull it out if you really don't like the way it's looking? And it's like, well, because I'm really enjoying working on this project. Like, I'm having a lot of fun with this. So one of the goals that I had for this episode was to finish another section and a half. So here's the progress keeper where I was for the last episode, and this is how much I've gotten done on this one. Okay, and this light pink is the mohair. Okay, and then I've got this magenta, I've got this gray here, and this green, and then this white, but it's got like little confetti sprinkles on it. So this is my Mohairino medley. Would you hold that over there? And we're just gonna gradually just bring it up like this. Okay, just to give you an idea. I mean, this is not something I would ever wear. I have the perfect person in mind who I think would absolutely appreciate this. And this will be her Christmas gift. My sister-in-law, Natalie. I think she does not like loud colors. This magenta might be a little questionable, but the rest of this is pretty muted. And there's just that pop every once in a while with that magenta. And so this will be her Christmas present.
Mm-hmm.
So
last year it was a hat. Oh, no, a scarf.
A hat.
Oh.
Yep. So yes, I am truly enjoying this project. I am going to move my progress keeper, so that is current. But yes, I am glad that my sister-in-law and I have different tastes, because it just means I can continue making this and feel good knowing that I've got somebody that it will be going to that will appreciate it and hopefully enjoy it as much as I have enjoyed making it. So this is my Stephen West Mohairino medley. Okay. What do you think?
I like it.
I do too. I mean, it's just been so much fun. And again, if you are interested in the yarn that I'm using in this, I do have a Ravelry page. It'll be linked in the show notes below. If you're interested, if you want to make one. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
I do think we've got Anthony convinced or talked into, or we've discussed it. I think we know what his next knitting project is going to be.
It's going to be a blanket.
Yeah. Where'd you get the inspiration?
I got it from Andrew, the son of Caroline from Aria Bark podcast.
Yes, Aria Bark podcast.
Yes.
And Andrew has been working on this blanket and he just finished it. I really don't know how long it's taken. It's taken him a hot minute to get it finished, but it's done. And Anthony really likes just the very simple knit pattern, knit or purl.
I've tried to do a pattern, but I find I don't really like paying like that close of attention to it. I just like to, knit or purl, just that's all I need to do, so I can, have a conversation and I don't have to be counting in my head and then
Oops.
and yeah. And so I just like doing this. I mean, and obviously, some people might agree with me. Most people, I'm sure, don't. They like to do projects with patterns, and
I think for some people, it just depends on their mood. Some people really like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Carolyn and Andrew have a podcast. It's called Aria Bark Podcast, and I'll put a link to their channel below as well. And they're a mother-son. Yeah. They banter.
Yeah.
And it's enjoyable. It's entertaining. Their most recent episode, there were so many things where I was just like, oh my gosh, they are so funny. They are so funny. But then at the end of the video, I went to leave a comment. Because when you leave a comment for a podcast, when you leave a comment, it does whatever it does for the YouTube algorithm, and it helps get that YouTube seen a little bit more, because it's showing YouTube algorithm that the viewers are engaging with that episode. So I do try to leave comments, and at the end of the episode, so yes, Caroline and her son, Caroline and her son, Andrew, they definitely banter back and forth. And I was trying to make a comment at the end, and the one thing that stuck out in my mind was Andrew pulled out his socks that he's making, and he had dropped a few stitches, and he was like, nobody breathe. As he's trying to pick up these stitches. And I'm telling you, that is the voice that goes on in my head. And not just with socks. If I drop stitches, I hear the air just gets sucked out of the room and nobody breathes, because I need to get those stitches before they slip further and further away.
Yeah. I used to make a whole lot of cowls, because like I said, you just got to go back and forth, just around and around and around, and doing the same. I mean, like, I tried to do a pattern with that, and I mean, it looked good. I just didn't really enjoy it. And so I just prefer to just do, like I said, a knit or a purl. And
you know what? So yes, that was the comment I ended up leaving, was because that comment that Andrew made during that episode was so relatable. I was just like, yes, I have been where that boy is at right now. So anyway, they are fantastic to watch if you enjoy mother-son knitting team. They do banter, and it is quite enjoyable. The next whip that I'm going to talk about is Anthony's Christmas present. So if you've been here for other episodes, you'll know that I am working on an illusion knitting project for Anthony. And this was where my stitch marker was from my last episode. And my goal was to do 3 inches. I feel like I met that goal to get from that stitch marker up to where I'm at. I couldn't find my measuring tape, but I'm pretty confident that's more than 3 inches. So if you are not familiar with what illusion knitting is, when you look at it, you should just see regular lines straight up and down. Obviously, they'll be straighter and more beautiful when I block it. But if you turn it to the side, I'll go this way, an image starts to pop out. Perfect. Thank you. Can you tell what that is?
Again, like last time, I just see a line with, it looks like something is coming off, like branching off on this part right here.
Okay.
Like it's branching off. Yeah,
so,
you see? Right there.
So this is the illusion knitting project that I am working on.
Just tell me what it is. I will act surprised.
It's your Christmas present. So yes, this was another one of my goals for this episode, was to complete 3 inches on this project. And I have reached that goal as well. I'm very excited about this project. And if you have thought about doing an illusion knit project, jump in. I mean, it is so fun.
That's if you like patterns.
No, it's a knit and purl. That's all you got to be able to do.
Yeah, but there's a pattern from where you, like, that is too much of a pattern for me. Like, I have to count how much of a knit until I get to where I have to switch to purl. Like, that is too much of counting for me. I just like doing the entire time a knit or purl.
So with illusion knitting, when you are looking at the right side, so every 2 rows, you're switching colors, right? So when you are doing your right side on the light color, you're going one way across the front side. That whole row is knitting. Okay? So then when you flip it around and you're doing the back side, that's when you follow the pattern. And the pattern is broke out by 10 stitches. You see where I have my stitch markers? Yeah. The stitch markers are every 10 stitches. Well, the pattern is also written with a red line down the chart. Oh, doorbell. Okay, so then when you're doing the wrong side, you have, the pattern will tell you, okay, you're going to do 5 knits and 5 purls. And then the next 10, you're going to do, 3 knits and 7 purls. And you just do it in 10 count increments, and you're just knitting and purling. And the purls, right? And the different, where the bumps are placed is what's causing the image to pop out. So it's the purl bumps that is creating the illusion. So it's really just a matter of following the pattern in sets of 10. So this will be Anthony's Christmas present. And I have said that I will continue to share this on the channel until it becomes more evident what the image is. Because I do want you to be surprised. Yeah. So that's your Christmas present. What are you getting me for Christmas?
Well, I'm not going to tell you because you're not going to tell me that.
I told you this morning what you're going to get me for Christmas.
Oh, well, I'm getting her pajamas.
I need
because
pajamas.
Her pajamas are pretty raggedy. That's all I'm going to say.
This is such a bad deal. Okay. So I went to...
How long have you been using those as pajamas?
At least a decade.
I
need to just burn it. But when you wear your pajamas, you don't think about, how they appear, because you don't go out of the house with them.
You did last night.
And you do if you're going to swap yarn. And I did. And there was a hole in my shirt at a very unfortunate location. And she was so kind and so gracious that instead of saying, Tanya, you got a little something going on. Instead, she said, hey, can I show you the shawl I recently finished? I know that in my mind, she brought that shawl out to be incredibly gracious, hoping that I would recognize that I had a hole in a very unfortunate spot, and that I would cover myself with the shawl. Which, as soon as I recognized what was happening with the hole in my shirt, I did ask if I could borrow that shawl, which she brought out to show me. So, sorry about the doorbell. My husband scheduled an appraiser to come look at our house today. So he needed to walk around the outside and take pictures of everything on the inside. Today, Thursday, one of 2 days in the month that I'm tied up. I don't think he understands the importance of karma's a stitch. So anyway, yes, I do have a very gracious friend that was willing to share her shawl. But I'm going to talk about my next whip, which is living in this project bag that my mother made. Love these project bags so very much. The drawstrings folds over. It's got the box bottom, and it's got its own little notion pouch sewn right into it. And this was not a project I've talked about. It's not a project I've anticipated. However, it is a project that I must have on my needles so that I can participate in a Zoom meeting. So if you're not familiar with Mandy at Mouse's Makes podcast, she is a lovely lady, and her sense of humor is just very enjoyable for me. And I enjoy watching her. She puts out an episode every week. She's got some amazing projects, and I really do enjoy watching her. But she does currently have a sock along going on, and she has a Zoom meeting for her sock along. So if you have watched me, you know I don't necessarily enjoy knitting socks. However, I needed to have socks on the needles so that I could participate in her Zoom meeting. So I have socks on the needles that I am working on. I have cast on 64. This is 2.75 needles, US 2. These are going to be for my mother. They are the cotton bamboo that I was using for the socks for Alex, which are super soft. This material, feel this. My mom can't wear wool. Yeah. She can't wear anything scratchy. So I just thought, hey, I've got plenty left over. I want to make a pair of socks so that I can participate in Mandy's Zoom meeting. I have no intention of submitting any of my socks into her sock along. I really just wanted to hang out with the cool kids because that Zoom meeting, there are several podcasters in there that they're the ones I watch. And they, when you're watching a YouTube channel and you found a personality that you click with and you're like, at least for me, wow, I could hang out with that person. I could totally hang out with that person and knit for hours. And I have found a few people like that. And so I knit while I watch YouTube. Well, let me tell you that when you're in a Zoom meeting with these people that you've been watching on your screen for months, they talk back to you. Like you're having a conversation with them.
It's almost like meeting a celebrity.
I love being a part of that. So in order for me to be a part of that, I have to have socks on my needles. So I have a pair of socks that I'm working on for my mom, so that I can Zoom with Mandy from Mouse's Makes, and Alex from My Yarny Corner, and Caroline and Andrew are in there, and Jane. I need to look up her podcast. She just pops up on my feed because I'm a subscriber. Oh, that dog. Yes, and Jane from Mouse Knits and Crafts is on there. And these are people that I watch, and to be able to participate in a knit along or sock along. Mandy's sock along is going to last for September and October. It's going to be over October 31st. And shipping going back and forth is not cheap. And I would hate to submit and win, and then it puts the cost for shipping, and I get the joy of just knitting with these ladies. I don't feel the need to participate in the actual competition and the drawing. So I am so grateful to Mandy because she started a Zoom at 11 o'clock her time, which is British summertime. Well, there's 7 hours behind. They're 7 hours ahead of us. Yeah. And so 11 o'clock a.m., I couldn't participate. And she and I had messaged her and commented, and I said, you know, if you ever do another one, you know, that's in another time zone, I'd love to participate. And so she had other interests. It wasn't me, you know, just me, but she did have other people interested from other time zones and from the US. And so she started another one in the evening at 6 o'clock her time, which is 11 a.m. my time. So I'm able to participate in that. And I'm so grateful because I've truly enjoyed that, but I have to have socks on my needles to participate in that whip or in that Zoom meeting. So that would be my third whip. And then my fourth and final whip that I'm going to talk about today is housed in my Mondo bag. This is the bag my mom made for me. I'm in love with it. It's huge. I currently have 14 balls of yarn. They are 50 gram skeins, and there's 14 of them in my bag. You see, it just sits like a box wherever I want to set it. And my local knitting group, there is a woman in our group that wanted accountability. She really wanted to work on a cardigan. And she's like, you know what, if I have a group working on sweaters or cardies or whatever, right? A wearable garment, I believe she wanted. But she's like, okay, if I start a Zoom, would other people be interested? Because I really need to be held accountable for this, because I really want to finish this. I really want to be pushed to work on this. And so she was basically putting together a wonderful support group for her to be motivated to get this done. And so several of us signed up for that. And she had us each post what our project was going to be. And this is one that I have wanted to work on for a very long time. I already had the yarn. I already had everything I needed already in a project bag. It is this sweater by Louisa Harding. And it is this sweater here. Isn't that gorgeous? It's called the Ivy. And I have the very yarn that it is knit with. It's amazing. So I got this from Angela at Yarn and Yarns. She was a yarn shop owner, and due to COVID and circumstances out of her control, she made a business decision to close her brick and mortar shop, which meant she had a lot of stuff going out on DStash. I had followed her on YouTube. She was the very first YouTube channel I ever watched that had to do with knitting. And I really wanted to support her. So I bought this kit that came with the this pattern book. And with this, so what I do, if you can see, and I'm going to hold it far away so you can't really see the pattern. Do you see how small that is? This print is what has kept me from working on it. And so what I have done,
you've typed it up.
So I have printed this like you guys have seen me do previously, and I have made it much larger. Sorry for my elbow, bub.
That's okay.
I've made it larger print. so that I can read it with my 28-year-old eyeballs. And this way I can follow along. And so last night, Wednesday, September 22nd, was the sweater cast on party on Zoom. So I got to sit on Zoom and listen to everybody, and everybody's starting projects. And we have one woman in there who's working on her very first project. We have another woman in there who's working on wrapping up a couple of sweater projects that she has been working on. And so I've got 2 new cast-ons this week, both due to wanting to participate in social Zoom meetings. So
During the Zoom meeting today,
mm-hmm.
it was really enjoyable to listen to them talk.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that accent. They were all like from England, and well, not all of them. From England, Scotland. I don't know if there's from other places. Yorkshire.
Yeah.
I don't know where that's at, but they and then there was another woman who was on the East Coast
of America.
Of
the US, yeah.
But I just really liked listening to them talk. Like whenever I watch Arya, what is it? Arya Barks. Sometimes I have to like rewind it so I can, because their accent is so thick sometimes, I can't really understand, what they said. So sometimes I have to do that, but I love their accent. I love it. It's a very, yeah. So I just really enjoy listening to them talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and they're just so funny. I mean, the humor that gets thrown about in all of these Zoom meetings that I participate in, that's why I was like, okay, I've got to have socks on so I can participate. Okay, I got to cast a sweater on so I can participate. I mean, we moved to this new area right at the beginning of the pandemic so that, here we were. We had no idea everything was going to get locked down. And we don't have family here. And it was difficult to make friends in the middle of a pandemic. Mm-hmm. So it's something that we've both been really missing. And I'm just grateful. I'm just really, really grateful for this fiber community internationally, because everybody has been so warm and welcoming. So yes, let's talk about some whips. Whips. Yes, I've got some whips. So with this first whip that I've got, these are the socks, and I am horrific. There's 3 things I really procrastinate doing. Swatching. I don't like making swatches.
Sounds like half socks.
Blocking. I really don't like blocking. Some things I don't see the purpose in it. Other things, all right, that needs to be blocked. I get it. And weaving in ends. I'll just put it all off till I need them to be woven. So these are the socks that I made for Alex. Kind of. She didn't want her toes covered. So they're like yoga socks.
They're a little big on her too.
No, they fit her great.
Are you serious?
Yep, they fit her beautifully. And this is with that cotton bamboo yarn that I showed that I'm working on for my mother. The pattern that I used minus the toe, and I had a viewer comment telling me, hey, I made some socks for my grandsons. They're 4 and 6. And I cast on this many stitches. So I cast on that many stitches, and then I came across this sock pattern, and I was like, hey, I could do that little pattern for
Little Miss Alex.
For Little Miss Alex. And they're called the Rhylite Socks. And they're from the Simple Collection by Tin Can Knits. So yeah, I didn't put the toes in them. She didn't want her toes covered, and they fit her beautifully. And I asked, these were what I was working on last week, and this is what I was working on during last Thursday's Sock Along Zoom meeting. And it was the first time I had participated in that Zoom meeting. And I'm like going like this and I'm casting on. And I did the German twist cast on. Super, super elastic. Super stretchy cast on. It was the first time I'd ever used it. Nope, second time I've ever used it. And really enjoyed it. But here I was in this Zoom meeting with all these YouTube superstars interacting, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I get through the ribbing and I realize I had pulled out my US 6 DPNs and not my US 2. I had done the entire ribbing on my second sock in a US 6 and had to rip it all out. I was just so excited to be participating in that Zoom meeting. I know it's silly, I know it's ridiculous, but I was really excited about it.
That's such a like letdown. You're just like, I did. Oh,
I had to rip the whole thing out.
Oh.
So one thing I do want to point out with these socks. So this was the first time, if you look at this pattern here, okay, you'll see that I have the purl stitches all the way down the front of the foot. Well, here I had a stitch marker, like 4 stitches in, and one row I had continued that purl all the way across those 4 stitches to the stitch marker. This was the first, and I didn't notice it for like 4 or 5 rows up. This was the first time, and I was pretty pleased with myself that I was able to let go of a stitch, drop it down 4 or 5 rows, correct my mistake, and bring it all the way back up correctly. You can't even tell where I did that. I was so pleased with myself. I was so excited that I had done that. But the other thing I wanted to point out, as I used 2 different kinds of needles. So if you look at these socks, you will see there is a length difference, a significant length difference. Okay? She won't notice. And I did this. I knew there was a chance that there was going to be a difference, but I wanted to see for myself how significant of a difference it would be if I used the DPNs for the whole sock, which was this sock, this shorter one. I used the DPNs. Now this bigger one, I used my Addi Flexi Flips. And with the first sock I did, and I used the Addi Flexi Flips, I didn't enjoy it. I was not enjoying using these, which is why for the second one, I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to try something different, which is why I then went and grabbed my DPNs, mistakenly grabbing my US 6 instead of my 2s. And that I definitely have a significant difference between my Addi Flexi Flips and my DPNs, but she will never know. I have these done for her. I will weave in the ends so that she can wear them tomorrow. I have not allowed her to wear them because I wanted to get them shown on the podcast first. So I will weave in those ends for her. I will put my Flexi Flips back in my blue bag with all my knitting needles and file my pattern away because I'm done with that one. And put my project bag back on the shelf so I can use it again another time. My second FO this week is my Palm Springs cowl.
Oh yeah,
Again,
last time you just started it, or you had a little bit done.
Yeah.
And
so this one, if it looks familiar, it's because this is the second one I've made with this yarn. The first one I made was the darker with the whites flex, which I think is stunning.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and brother both tried this on and said, it's a little too tight. I'd never wear it. My husband wouldn't wear it anyway. Anthony tried it on, and this might be a stocking stuffer for Anthony. Shh, we won't tell. So for my brother, which I really wanted to make him one of these, I added 2 of these repeats. So this cowl...
making it looser?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So this cowl is this much wider right here. Okay, because I did
so
this
how
V,
much wider?
this V, and this V are additional width.
Oh, okay.
So I just added it. Yeah, you can try that one on.
Well, no, I just want to see. Like.
Yeah. So you got one in the front, and then of course you'd have the other one on the back side of that.
Gotcha.
That's additional. Gotcha. So I finished that. I'm going to weigh the yarn that I have because I would like to make another one in this color because I think this is gorgeous. I think this dark with the white, I mean, this one is nice.
I like the darker one more.
I do too. So I'm going to see what I have available, what I have left. I am not going to put a time limit on that one just yet because I want to weigh the yarn. I may not do anything with it. I may decide, nope, not enough. I'll find another project to do. So that was the Palm Springs cowl. I got this pattern at the knitting retreat that I had gone to this last fall. I was very excited about that retreat. I bought yarn specific for this pattern. I felt very disciplined in my purchases. The other thing that I got at that retreat was this yarn here. And my original plan with this was to make 2 more Palm Spring cowls for my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and they would be opposing. Okay, and I might still do that with these.
Well, doesn't Aunt Natalie not like loud colors?
Aunt Natalie is my sister-in-law, married to my brother. The other sister-in-law I have is my husband's sister. Corey has a sister.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I was like...
Yeah, Mr. Man's sister.
Gotcha.
So his mom and sister, I might make them cowls as well using the same colors. I'm just not sure yet because the other option that I have for that is I really love this scarf. And so this is double knitting, but if you look at it.
Wait, do you think that they would wear the...
This would not be for them. This would just be a project that I use this yarn for. So when you look at this, this is double knitting. However, on this side, you've got the X's. On the dark side, you've got O's. And that's not a type of double knitting that I have done previously. And I would absolutely love to try this. So I may save this yarn to do this project. Or I may do the spring.
Well, would you wear that scarf? Because it has, like hearts and...
For Valentine's Day, I might have a family member that would wear that. The other pattern I recently got was from Hedgehog Fibers. And it's a pair of socks that my niece chose. She wants these socks in this black color. And she also wants me to make her a steering wheel cover. She is 17 and she wants a granny square steering wheel cover. So I may do that for her. And that has made my Christmas very simple for her. And then I have my Stephen West Mystery Knit Along getting ready to start. So goals for next episode, because what is the date in 2 weeks? It's just before the 8th. I think it's the Thursday before the 8th. And
how many days are in? There's 30 days in September.
So my goals for...
So it's the 7th.
Okay. So my goals for the next episode, and these are going to be some steep steep goals.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I want to have my Mohairino medley off the needles.
How far are you on that one?
I think that's totally doable if I really bust my tail on it. I've got
pull out your finger and get to
it. Something like that.
Um,
So I have 3 sections left in my Mohairino medley, and I really think I could get that finished. I've got no business having 2 Stephen West shawls on the needles at the same time. No business. So I want to get that one finished and wrapped up. That does not mean it will be blocked. It does not mean I will have the ends woven, but I want it off the needles. Okay. I want to do another 3 inches on the Illusion knitting project. I am not going to touch these socks for my mom, except when I am in that sock along with Mandy and her group, with her sock along group Zoom meeting. I really want to be able to participate in that. And I've got some other big projects. So if I'm in the car or if we're going somewhere, I might take the socks with me because those are super, super portable. The sweater, I'm not giving myself a deadline on. However, it is a lot of fun. This yarn is amazing. I will be working on that as well. But I am going to, I don't even know how to, I've gotten through one of the repeats. I have to do 14 of them. So I'd like to think I'd get through about 4 or 5 more of those in the next 2 weeks.
Like finish
4 or 5 repeats. Yeah. So if you look at this is how far I am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it has the little point on the end.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one set of the stitches. This is the bottom of the sweater because you're going back and forth from bottom to top.
Okay.
And so this is one repeat.
Oh, so you want to double that?
That would be 2 repeats. I want to get maybe 4 of these.
4 repeats.
Yep. So yeah, that is my goal for this sweater, and we'll see how I make out. Life stuff. I think Anthony's going to start a knitting project. A blanket. We got to go shopping.
But like I said, if you've been with us from, I think the very first video, I'm a social knitter.
So yeah, life stuff. Alex is going to kindergarten, morning and afternoon, 2 different schools. Getting her in the middle after her morning kindergarten, giving her some lunch, rushing over to the afternoon school. She's doing great with the 2 schools, very different outcomes from both. She's doing great. Cinder is feeling amazing. I've got some video of her. This dog, if she sees a light reflection, like you've seen cats chase laser lights, that would be my dog.
Yeah.
And I was recently sitting in this chair and the light catches like right off my watch. And then whenever it does that, she sees like the reflection on the wall. Mm-hmm. And she smacks her face on the wall trying to get to whatever it is crawling on the wall. Well, I was knitting in my chair, and as I'm doing that, this thing is going right next to my leg in the chair. So she's sitting there staring at it.
She doesn't want to hurt you.
And then she starts punching the chair with her nose. And I've got, so when you see that video, I will add it at the end. That's what she's doing. She's trying to catch this really horrific,
scary reflection.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she hasn't broken her teeth when
she goes at it too.
Yeah. Like
the ceiling of the car when we're in the car.
like my because I'd be sitting passenger and like I'd have my phone on my lap or my watch. It would reflect, on the roof back here, and she just
It's
pounces to the ceiling, and
it's all bad.
yeah.
So, you know, and then she's in the backyard and she's running around. These puppies are doing great. They've got such wonderful personalities. Yeah, they're losing their puppy teeth. But yeah,
they hurt.
Everybody's doing good. We've got some beautiful roses. I think we're done with some of our veggies, and
you've gotten
quite a bit.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah. You'll have to take a look at the berry bushes in the front.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty fantastic. We had new neighbors move in next door, and one of the little girls over there is in Alex's afternoon class. So Alex has the neighbor girl coming over and playing, and I mean, it's been pretty great. And we're all doing good.
Mm-hmm.
My husband is scheduled for his hip replacement surgery come November, and we'll see how that goes with the whole COVID numbers going up and if hospitals are actually doing surgeries. We'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's about it. You have anything else?
Nothing new at my house, just kind of, you know, and I'm really involved with my church, and I usually have stuff going on over there, and other than that, I'm just at home doing my own thing, so. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Ready for the Stephen West knit along. I do think I am thinking about doing. I want to have a Zoom meeting for the Stephen West knit along. I really do. I want to be able to hang out and knit on it and have some focused, dedicated time for it. So we'll see. We'll see if there's something like that already started that I can participate in. And if not, maybe I'll do my own. Let me know if you would be interested in that. Yeah. All right, you guys. We'll see you in a few weeks.